The banned and restricted list update, the upcoming Caltagirone Dragonstorm release, and a certain merc with a mouth are all impacting card prices on this episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. This video is sponsored by Flipside Gaming. Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Right now you can pre-order Caltagirone Dragonstorm, Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy, or find a vast number of other great items on their website. Remember, shipping is free in the US if your order is over $100 or consists only of singles. Just look in the description or comment section below for direct links to their site. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. Like I said in the cold open, numerous factors are impacting card prices this week. In fact, this time we're going to look at 11 cold and 11 hot cards instead of our normal 10, just because there were a couple additional ones that I thought were worth mentioning. As always, our lists are based on two pieces of criteria: the percentage change in the value of the cards, as well as the change in the number of sales from week to week. We'll quickly look at the cold cards, and then spend a little more time on the cards moving up in price. Quickly before we get into it though, just a couple fast things. I do want to say thank you to one of our gold patrons, and that is Marcos Ong. Marcos, thank you for all your support on Patreon. It truly goes a very long way to helping the channel. Couldn't do this without viewers like yourself for sure, so thank you, Marcos. And I also want to thank a new channel member, Blood Dracolich Dragonborn 2930. I can't thank you enough for your channel membership. I truly appreciate the support. Thank you, Blood Dracolich. And now, without any further ado, let's get into it. We'll begin with the top 11 cold cards of the week. This week, several cards that were spiking are moving down since sellers have brought more copies to the marketplace in an attempt to take advantage of the recent price increases. The extra inventory is causing them to move back down some. This is even true for some of the dragons that have been hot because of the support coming from Caltagirone Dragonstorm. Additionally, we're going to see a couple cards that are about to be reprinted and a few other surprises. Coming in at number 11 is Abhorrent Oculus, down $2.19 this week to $22. That's a 9% decrease. Number 10, Pest Control, down $2.29 to $17.59. That's a 12% decrease. Number 9, Nogi Draco Zealot. This is down $2.64 to $22.60 for a 10% decrease. This Magic Game Night's free-for-all card only comes in foil. It's moving down now because it's finally getting reprinted in the Caltagirone Dragonstorm Temur Roar Commander deck. Number 8 is Grinding Station from 5th Dawn, down $2.98 to $19. That's a 14% decrease. The Grinding Station Breach decks have been all over the Modern format, but this week Underworld Breach was banned there. So we see Grinding Station moving down. This was number 13 on our extended hot list last week. Now it's at number 7 on the cold list. Sarkhan Soul Aflame from March of the Machine, The Aftermath. It's down $3.21 to $7.03. That's a 31% decrease. This is another card that is getting reprinted in the Caltagirone Dragonstorm Temur Roar Commander deck. This one was number 7 on the hot list last week. Now it's number 6 on the cold list. That is Miram Sentinel Worm, down $3.43 to $11.56. That's a 23% decrease. Sister Hospitler from the Warhammer 40k Forces of the Imperium Commander deck. This was number 4 on the hot list a week ago. Last week it landed at number 4 on the cold list. This time it's down one spot to number 5, and it's down $3.46 to $8.53 for a 29% decrease. A week ago, this one was number 7 on the hot list. Last week it climbed to 4. This week it arrives on the cold list at the number 4 spot. It is Birthing Pod from New Phyrexia, down $5.34 to $29.63. That's a 15% decrease. So this one was moving up based on speculation that it may be unbanned in Modern, but the banned and restricted list update came and went last week, and this is still banned. Thus, Birthing Pod begins its descent back down. Number 3 is Anvil of Bogarden. This is down $6.09 to $53.90. That's a 10% decrease. A week ago, this was number 6 on the hot list. Last week it peaked at number 2. This week it arrives on the cold list at the 2 spot, Tiamat. The Adventures in the Forgotten Realms copy is down $6.92 to $41.93. That's a 14% decrease. The one from the list is down $9 to $45. That's a 17% decrease. And coming in at number 1 for the second week in a row, it's Copy Artifact from Revised, down $39.47 to $89.03. That's a 31% decrease. Alright, on to the top 11 hottest cards of the week, starting off with number 11, Rashida Scalbane. This is up 201 to 363. That's a 124% increase. This gets a little commander play. Sometimes you see it in General Kudrow of Drannith builds, for example. However, this reserve list card always seems to spike when Dragon support is on the horizon, and Tarkir Dragonstorm certainly qualifies as a set that supports the creature type. Some players may want a copy of Rashida for their commander build since Dragon decks are about to become more plentiful, but speculators are jumping on this card as well. Number 10, Misleading Signpost, up 201 to 1098, that's a 22% increase. This is from the Wilds of Eldraine Fey Dominion commander deck. You see it in a few different commander builds, but most often it's in decks around a couple cards from its pre-con, Tegwil Duke of Splendor and Alicia Cunning Conqueror. Recently though, some players have been putting this in commander decks around a card from Aetherdrift, that is Loot the Pathfinder. But I'm also seeing Misleading Signpost appearing in some deck lists around the front-facing commander previewed from the Final Fantasy Scions and Spellcraft commander deck, Y'shtola Knight's Blessing. Since we know that Y'shtola's commander deck is going to have a non-creature matters theme, Misleading Signpost may be a good upgrade, assuming it's not reprinted in the product. Number 9 is Velgavoth, Harrower of Souls. This goes up 216 to 1152, that's a 23% increase. This is the foil version from the Dustborn Endless Punishment commander deck. It's still a very popular commander, and it can appear in the 99 of some builds too, like Nekuzar the Mindraiser, but a new card from a secret layer is pushing Velgavoth now. Get ready to thumbs down the video in 3, 2, 1. The card I'm referring to is based on a Marvel Comics character. It's Deadpool Trading Card. Since Deadpool can trade text boxes with another creature, you can give an opponent Deadpool's upkeep trigger where they lose 3 life. Perfect if you have Velgavoth, Harrower of Souls in play. The Merc with a Mouth will be great in those commander decks, and I've already seen Velgavoth in the 99 of deck lists around Deadpool. Number 8, Cavern-Hoard Dragon, up 235 to 1374, that's a 21% increase. This is from the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth Hosts of Mordor commander deck. It's found in the 99 of several commander builds, and not just dragon ones. You see it in Sauron the Dark Lord and around a card from its pre-con, Sauron Lord of the Rings, but it is also in dragon-centric commander decks, and obviously those are getting a lot of support from Tarkir Dragonstorm. Plus, I'm seeing a lot of players looking to upgrade the upcoming Temur Roar commander deck with Cavern-Hoard Dragon, while others want to add it to fresh builds around the front-facing commander from there, Eshki Temur's Roar. Number 7 is Out of the Tombs, up 249 to 1429, that's a 21% increase. This is from the Warhammer 40k Necron Dynasties commander deck. It's in a few different commander builds. For example, sometimes you see it in decks around Zarek the Silent King or Imhotep the Stormlord, which are both from its pre-con. Recently, some players were putting it in decks around a card from Aetherdrift as well, though, Adchik Emerald Radiant. However, Out of the Tombs is heating up this week because of Tarkir Dragonstorm. Many players want to copy the card in order to upgrade the Sultai Arisen commander deck, while others want Out of the Tombs for fresh builds around Taval the Balanced Scale from there. Number 6 is Determined Iteration, up 284 to 1338, that's a 27% increase. This is from the Streets of New Capenna Maestro's Massacre commander deck. It currently gets a little commander play in builds around Mishra Eminent One and the Master Multiply, for example. More on that card in a bit. But now there is a lot more demand on Determined Iteration. First, some players have been adding it to commander deck lists around a card from Tarkir Dragonstorm, that's Zergo Thunder's Decree. Secondly, though, and most importantly, there are players that want Determined Iteration in decks around Deadpool Trading Card. The idea here is to create token copies of Deadpool as much as possible and use cards that will protect or enable the tokens. Determined Iteration will get you the tokens, and a card like the Master Multiplied will prevent you from sacrificing them at the end step. This strategy can work whether you're using Deadpool or the Master Multiplied as your commander. Quickly before we get to the top 5, just a fast reminder, this video is sponsored by Flipside Gaming. Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Right now you can pre-order Tarkir Dragonstorm products there. You can also pre-order the Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy products on the site now too. Remember, for orders over $100 or consist only of singles, shipping will be free in the United States. And if you're looking for a direct link to their site, just check out the description or comment section below. I do have links posted in both of those places. And now, without any further ado, let's get to the top 5. Coming in at number 5 is Kethis, the Hidden Hand. It's up 658 to 1078. That's a 157% increase. This is a fairly popular commander, and it can appear in the 99 of builds at times too, like in decks around Joda the Unifier, for example. But Modern is the reason Kethis is jumping right now. Remember earlier when I said that Underworld Breach was banned in Modern this week because the Grinding Station Breach decks have been out of control? Well, there's another combo deck out there which you probably have heard of that also runs Grinding Station and Mox Opal. That's Kethis Combo. The deck also runs 4 copies of Mox Amber and of course 4 copies of Kethis the Hidden Hand. The build can win on turn 2 occasionally, but even an average draw could allow it to go off on turn 3 or 4. We'll have to see if the format can counter it, but considering how much trouble the meta had with Grinding Station Breach, I'm not overly optimistic. Kethis Combo could be the next runaway Modern deck. Time will tell. This one was number 5 on the cold list last week. This week, though, it returns to the hot list at number 4. It is Parallax Tide, up 707 to 3249. That's a 28% increase. This sees play in 1v1 Dual Commander, in Urtai Resurrected, or in regular Commanders or Eternal Schemer builds, for example. However, Pre-Modern is the format that has made this card hot. In Pre-Modern, you see Parallax Tide in several decks, including some really popular and successful builds like Stiflenaught, Parallax Replenish, Tide Control, and Lansdale. In fact, Tide Control came in 2nd and Parallax Replenish came in 5th last weekend at the Munich Pre-Modern Series. Number 3 is Shallow Grave, up 2401 to 8169. That's a 42% increase. This reserve list card appears in more than one format, including regular Commander, 1v1 Commander, and Legacy. For example, this is an Aminatou the Fate Shifter dual Commander decks and Carrick Son of Yawgmoth regular Commander builds. However, Legacy is the format moving the price the most. There, Shallow Grave appears as a 4 of in Reanimator builds. Reanimator decks have been highly played in the format for a while, but leading up to this week's Banned and Restricted List update, Shallow Grave was losing value, since many thought that Reanimator may be nerfed by a banning. Now, they did ban Troll of Khazad-dûm, but the prevailing sentiment is that Reanimator will still be extremely competitive in the meta. As promised, coming in at number 2, the Master Multiplied, up $25 to $25.99. That is a 2,525% increase if you're doing the math at home. This is from the Doctor Who Masters of Evil Commander deck. It's been a fairly popular commander, and it's in the 99 of some decks too, like Ishin Two Heavens is one, and Obeka Brute Chronologist. Now I'm even seeing some putting this in deck lists around a card from Tarkir Dragonstorm, Nuriv Heart of the Storm. But you know why the Master Multiplied is spiking already. Like I mentioned earlier, Commander players want to play this with the new Secret Lair card, Deadpool Trading Card. And finally, up 7 spots this week to number 1, Painter's Servant from Shadowmoor. It goes up $35.42 to $101.99. That's a 53% increase. Sure, this sees a little Commander play. For example, it can appear in Reaper King builds. However, Legacy Painter's Servant decks have been highly played in the format recently, and of course those builds run 4 copies of its namesake card. That's the true reason this card is so hot right now. This week's Banned and Restricted List announcement did not touch the Painter build, so many think that it will thrive even more in the upcoming meta. Also, it's important to note that other than this Shadowmoor rare version, the only other printing of Painter's Servant was as a Kaladesh invention, meaning that it's a tough card to find currently. Long story short, more demand on this low supply card is why you're seeing the price spike. And that's going to do it for this episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. Really interesting one. A lot of different reasons for cards moving up in value. There's a lot happening, and there's going to be a lot more happening in the secondary market in the coming months. Tarkir Dragonstorm will officially drop. We'll start getting previews for Final Fantasy. There's going to be a lot of turbulence, no doubt. Until next time, though, hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page, as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.